Guys, I just had my first 450,000 euro month in cash collected, and all the strategies on how I did it, I share somewhere else. But this podcast, I believe, is even more valuable than that because I believe a very big reason on why I could achieve this is because of the inner work I did in the 7 months before. Because in this period, I was massively committed to inner work. And yeah, the result of this week is like a very nice reward for that for me. And also this week, I already scheduled a podcast with my girlfriend. So she will interview me in this podcast about the inner work I did, because many things that I did, I learned from her. So it will be a very interesting podcast. I also decided to quit my old business to help my girlfriend fully now with her business because of the results that I got from her principles, and I saw how good her client results were. So in this podcast, you will get the lessons and the things I got out of her things, and also how they led to a 450,000 euro month in cash collected. So stay tuned from start to finish because it will be a very good podcast. Now you will go to the official podcast.
I'm Natalie and I have a special guest today. It's my boyfriend Michel Moser, and he's one of the leading business and LinkedIn coaches in the Netherlands. And yeah, we met 1 year ago and our love story started back then. And yeah, it led to massive transformations, our being together. And it ultimately also led him to quit his multi-million dollar business. And yeah, he had massive transformations himself, and he decided to support my business because he saw like what is possible to achieve and the client results, yeah, how amazing they were. And he will share today all his lessons from our time together and what really helped him to not only become his happiest and healthiest version, but also reach his biggest month ever. Like he just had like 450,000 euro a month.
Yes.
Pretty impressive. So I'm sure many high achievers can relate with you, especially with that version of you that you were 1 year ago.
Yes, very good. Let's go into it.
What was the biggest transformations from our time together?
Yeah, I think the biggest one was that I learned how to live on an even higher frequency. So before that, I had the business, and the business was doing around 200,000 euros per month. I decided to quit it 6 months later. And in that time, I had a team. I had a team that was running the business for me. I had amazing clients. Yeah, I had everything was going super well with the business. I went to the gym. I invested into health coaching a lot before. In other, yeah, everything was going super good. But on the inside, even though I invested also a lot of money into personal coaching, I had like at that time 3 to 5 even personal coaches, not because I felt something was wrong with me, but just because I was so hungry to grow my business and to grow myself, and I saw such a high ROI in personal coaching. But still, I could struggle a lot with fear, with lack, shame, and guilt. Mainly these four things. Maybe these four things. And so, for example, when my business was doing very well, I was scared that I would lose all the money. So in the beginning, I made like, for example, 5,000 per month. And then I thought, okay, I just need to make more money because yeah, then I won't lose it, you know? Then I made 10,000, then 20, 50, 100. And don't say this to brag, but just to show the pattern. And even at 200 per month, at a certain point, I was like, what if I lose all the money? What if I get one lawsuit and something goes wrong with intellectual property or something somewhere? Or I use a picture of a site that I can't use, like all these things. And then I had the business, I had the time freedom, location freedom, and still sometimes I could live a lot in fear. I could not really relax. Or I was like, what if my team is not happy? What if one client is not happy? Well, there was very clear proof of my team. I was with them here in Bali one time on a trip, and they clearly said we are super happy, don't worry. But still, after that, I could still worry about it, that I should do something extra for them. So that was, for example, the fear. 2 examples of that. And then shame or guilt was of mistakes in the past that I really identified with. For example, that I handled one client not good, or one team member of which I thought, hey, I should have done this differently. And then I said in shame, one client that didn't got the results. And I was like, shit, she paid money. And then I felt ashamed, like, did I do the right thing? Because the terms and conditions were clearly like, hey, we help you longer, not we give you your money back, but they wanted their money back, for example. And I could feel a lot of guilt or shame about it. or lack, that I was like, hey, I had so much, but then I could only focus on the things I didn't have. For example, at that time, I had the business, I had very good friends, my life was amazing, but I didn't have a girlfriend. So then I was only focusing, okay, I don't have the girlfriend now. And I was then thinking, okay, if I have the girlfriend, my life would be perfect. Now, after all, now it happened, but like, but not only through the girlfriend, of course, also through you, but also to the principles that you taught me, you know. So yeah, that was right. But the things before weren't right in that. I wasn't fully happy always when I got even more money, or when I had the team, or when I only had to work 2 days a week instead of 5, or 1 day a week instead of 2. So it didn't, the lack, it was still lacking. I was always focused on what wasn't, not always, I was also happy. But when it happened in a day, for example, that I was a bit lacking, like a thought came, and then I could be for an hour in lack. Or I could see a couple and I was like, shit, I don't, like, I have this very successful business, and I don't know this guy, maybe he too, but some guys, I was like, I also deserve a girlfriend, and then I could be with it. Why didn't it work for me? And then the shame came again, and I was like, oh, maybe something of the past, maybe I'm not attractive, or these things, so yeah, and the coping mechanism for that was control. It's a pretty long rant now, but then they know it. And so what I did was, of this fear, so let's say I had fear about something, I had lack, I had shame and guilt, that I tried to control that I didn't feel these things. So I tried to optimize my day fully to make sure that I didn't feel any lack. I tried to do everything I could with clients or with team members to make sure that I didn't feel fear. I tried everything in my power to make sure everything is right, so I didn't have to be ashamed about something, or that I could be forgiven for something. And yes, I think the biggest thing that I learned out of you is how to finally let go of these things. And that caused me now to live on a way higher frequency, because I was already happy, but then in a day I could be like sometimes an hour or a few hours with these things, and now I don't have them anymore. Or now when the thought pops up of one of them, I'm in 5 minutes I solve them, and then I know they are not real. I know they are just a message or a test that I can pass and then continue with my happy day. So I think the biggest thing I got out of your coaching was that I spent maybe on average, like maybe even 7 to 10 hours a week less in these emotions of shame, guilt, fear, lack, mainly these four. And yeah, make sure that I can work these 7 hours, or be happy, or relax fully, or be present with you, or work extra, So I think that's a very clear ROI, time-driven thing that I got out of you, that I have 7 hours per week extra in which I can work towards the things that make me happy or enjoy my life instead of lacking, and as a result live on a continuous high frequency of at least 98% of the time.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I think to summarize the whole concept, because I'm supporting many high achievers on their well-being journey and healing journey, is what I see a lot is that fear is the driver for any things that they're working towards, be it the business that they're building. It's maybe fear of not being successful, of being broke, or of not having enough money. And this fear allows them to build successes, maybe have even status, acquire wealth, but ultimately it will burn them out. And you can achieve all the outer success, but at some point it will shift into fear of losing it, what you also experienced. So if we don't work with that fear will just change the costume, and it will remain there. And what would you say helped you really letting go of those emotions that were really unpleasant in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, so I think the biggest things that made sure that I shifted from these lower states of emotions to the emotions of love, joy, excitement, and being in there constantly. Like, you had a very big impact in that. First, I was also very scared to feel these emotions, or I thought that when I felt them, that I wasn't good enough. Maybe you also remembered a few times we were in Dubai on a travel, then I made like a list of all the things, in my opinion, I did wrong in the past, in my notes. And I was like, okay, before we start a relationship, let me tell you all the things where I think what I think I did wrong in the past, And I told them to you, and I was super stressed because I thought I was not good as a person deep down, or I'm wrong as a person, I did something wrong. And then you were like, actually, not this matters, Like, or you were not you were like this, but you were very compassionate, and you were like, all these things, they are all good, It's no problem. And also when I felt fear, you were like I could also be very afraid of fear, that I shouldn't feel fear, that it was not masculine to feel fear. And then you were like, oh yeah, fear is just an emotion, you know, it doesn't say anything about your masculinity. Just feel through it and get the lesson out of it, and that's it. Or so yeah, you definitely really helped me shift the perspectives on these lower frequency states. And yeah, with also a bit of that I accepted them, and I just saw them as messengers, that every time one pops up, like fear, shame, guilt, that I just feel through it. And yeah, so maybe what I do right now for myself personally is that I say like, okay, now try to feel as much as possible this fear, okay, and then you make it bigger, and then you feel through it, and after it, it's a bit, okay, what is the message now of this? What can I get out of this? Okay, actually, that nothing matters, or that I'm protected by God, or that I already have everything that I want. And that's, yeah, it's a combination of feeling through the emotions, accepting them too, and looking for the messages that are in them. Yeah.
That's a good part that you're saying right now, feeling through, because I feel a lot of high achievers that I'm working with, they simply don't know how to feel because they're a lot in their head. They're a lot overthinking things, trying to control things, and then feeling through emotions that feels very unsafe. So how did you manage to start feeling your emotions? Can you maybe guide people through what is your favorite way of feeling through emotions so that they can simply implement it right away?
Yeah, and before I do that, let me say one thing very clearly to these high achievers, because maybe they think like, okay, I don't have time for this, you know, or I'm so busy. You know, if you look at my week, if first I was for an hour per day in these lower states of emotions, and it costed me 7 hours per week, or even more sometimes. Sometimes I could even be half a day down because of these emotions. If you feel through them, you can cut that in 10%, you know, so you actually save time by doing this. So this is not something you do extra. This is something you do to save time, you know, and to live a happier life. It's not only to save time and work, but also to be happier in all these hours. So how did I start with it? I think I started with it when we were on travel on the Maldives, and then one time we were laying there, and I was very sad about something. And normally I never felt through my emotions because I thought it was not masculine, but then at that moment I just couldn't keep my tears in, and then I had a bit of tears. And then you were like, "It's okay," and then I was like crying for like 1.5 hours straight, because at that point I never had cried ever, not even with someone else, you know, let alone with a woman. So that was actually the first moment. And then in the beginning, I was very scared because I was like, shit, now now maybe I'm not strong anymore, you know, you remember? And then I was like, okay, but shit, you know? But then when I did it the first time, sometimes I couldn't keep it also in the next time, because it was like a balloon that finally got above the water. So then maybe I don't know exactly how it was anymore, but I remember first what I thought. I thought like, okay, I did it just one time. That's understandable, but just keep it at one time, you know. Then it's acceptable for her, because Natalie must feel safe with me because I'm the man. I must give her stability. And then I was like, okay, the second time I was like, okay, second time is fine, but then okay, then it was okay, maximum once every 2 weeks, you know. And then it was okay, maximum once every week. Okay, maximum once twice a week. And then I kept seeing that it didn't bother you at all. That you were like, you know, it's just understandable, you know. You kept saying it, but I was a bit like, okay, but like the female brain and its safety and evolutionary, you know, like all these things I said or I thought a bit in the back of my mind because of fear. And yeah, eventually I think I had a period of 1 month or 2 months in which I was a bit more looking to feel through the emotions that were stuck in my body, of fear, of sadness, of shame, guilt. And after it just it just, I think now in the last, maybe in the first 3 months I did it more often. In the 3 months after it was not so regular anymore. And I think now in the last 3 months, like how often did I have something? Not very often, right? It's like no.
Thank you for sharing. And what's maybe even also important for people to know, why should we feel through emotions? Because that is literally the thing that will, free you from the chains of the past, because you have to imagine it that way. Emotions that you just push away, they don't just magically disappear. They get stored in your body and they create tension, they create pain, they create ultimately maybe even disease. And also some people that are very successful or people that are working towards their goals, they are not really feeling the pure happiness and fulfillment that they could be feeling because it's blurred with all the things that they were pushing down. So when you allow yourself to feel through emotions, you take away the gray layer from your life and you start feeling more fulfillment from the inside as well. And this is also how you raise your frequency. Because when you feel through the emotions, you go in there with the intention of healing, of freeing yourself from those emotions. And this will create more acceptance. Acceptance is already a higher vibration and ultimately more joy. And the ultimate goal of us is to have a higher vibration, because a higher vibration allows you to work with ease, allows you to show up as the best partner, as the best business owner, as the best person for your clients, a coach, or anything in that regards. So it basically attracts everything into your life. So feeling through your emotions is actually the quickest way of getting rid of unpleasant emotions. So if you feel like shit, you literally have to feel that emotion you can just focus on fully feeling it for 60 to 90 seconds and then it will disappear, because emotions are just like little children. They're like, Musa, Musa. And once you give them the attention, they can go. They don't bother you anymore. So I tell it everyone, like, if you want to get rid of those unpleasant states, face them.
Yeah, it's very true. And also to maybe emphasize a little bit more on how much impact this had on me. You know, not only these emotions and feeling through them, I also did other things, which we will talk about soon. But sometimes I talked to this about people, or people also or sometimes I had like a meeting with someone that wanted to possibly buy coaching from you, and I was telling them this, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, but maybe I already know this, you know, or I already had this." And then I told them this, and they were like, "Okay, now maybe there's still something to do for me on this, you know." And I told them this. I was like, "Okay, can you imagine? I invested over 190,000 euros in business coaching from the best, from Alex Hormozy, from Rian Doris, from many other persons. I invested over 50,000 euros into personal coaching of people who helped me with family systems, NLP, hypnosis, Byron Katie, the work, all kinds of coaching, you know? And still, after that, when I did 200,000 per month and I had all these coachings for years after it, and I did these things of you, I feel my frequency has like skyrocketed in the past year, you know, and it is just crazy. So and feeling through these things, it completely changed my life, at least. So yeah, to do a bit of justice in there, I decided to even help her with her business. So that's how much impact this had on me. Yeah. So
Yeah, you invested over even 40,000 into health coaching. What would you say was the clear difference to what you've experienced with my work?
Yeah, very good question. So maybe also interesting for people is to know why I even invested 40,000 into health coaching in the first place, because not many people invested 40,000 euro into health coaching. And this was my mindset around it. What I learned from Alex Hormozy, it's one of the biggest things. I got coached by him. And for people that don't know him, he is at this point, I think, the biggest personal brand in the business space in the world. He has a portfolio of companies that do 250 million euros per year. And I paid him $70,000 for coaching. And the biggest lesson I learned from him was that the best entrepreneurs are the best in resource allocation. And what does that mean? Resource allocation means that they look, okay, which resources do I have available? It can be money, it can be time, it can be energy. And what are my goals? And how can I invest these resources in the best possible way to reach my goals? So for example, when I did it with health coaching, this is the mindset I used for that. Because first I invested into a health coach, and the first time I invested into him, I paid him 5,000 euros. And why did I pay him 5,000 euros? Because I was like, okay, I can leave this money on the bank and then it will do nothing. Or it will even decrease. I can invest this money into ETFs, then it will grow 10% per year. I can invest this money into Bitcoin, then it will maybe go times 3. But I was like, actually, if I invest this into health coaching and I live 5 years longer, I have an hour per day extra focus and energy, then I can work around 7 hours per week extra on my business, and that will make me way more than 5,000 euros. So that's why I invested first into him. And then after the 5,000 euros, I even continued with him and I paid him again 5,000 euros. Then I paid him 10,000 euros again. Then I paid him 10,000 euros again. And then I paid him 5 and 3,000 euros again. I was his longest client ever because I was like 2.5 years with him, you know? So because it had such a big ROI. And then what was the difference in between the 2.5 years that I learned from him and then now the year that I am together with you? I would say that you have different approaches. He is more focused on the masculine energy and health, and you are more focused, I would say, you're also very practical. That's what I love about you. But you're also more focused on the feminine approach in the health. So it's like, for example, he uses a lot with data, with science, with measuring everything, which is good, and then optimizing based on that. And I think you are more with okay, but also feel through your emotions, and you also look more at the emotions, at a bit more at frequency, a bit more at beliefs and how they impact your health, and also you do more with physical detox. So from him, I really learned how to track, optimize, and I learned, I'm very satisfied, of course. I continued like 4 times with him. And from you, I really learned how to do physical detox, which was very valuable for me. It was like, some people don't believe in it, but for me, it was insanely valuable, physical detox and taking binders and heavy metals, all these things. What was different is that you, for example, have the belief, and which I also do have right now, because I see it with many people. Okay, you cannot see everything on tests often, you know. So also just do the physical detox and try it, because sometimes you don't see it on these tests, but still, when you take these supplements and you remove some toxins and you do that daily, then it can give you a massive boost in energy. So that was something that really landed for me, that I was like, okay, because everyone nowadays there are a lot of toxins everywhere, you know, and many people don't know what binders are, they don't take binders. So that was something that really landed for me, that also that you can do these things. And also more wisdom in general from the body, instead of only tracking it with tests, that you also can just sometimes I remember you were saying something to me and you were like, I feel my liver needs some support. And I was like, I feel my liver needs some support. I was like, that you track these things, right? You track a blood test and you see the liver markers and you look if they need support, you know. So I was like, does she make this up, or is it like that was what I was thinking. But then now I'm like, okay, actually I know how to do it with tests, and I still test myself around once every 6 weeks. You think it's way too often, but I still like it, you know. But also, like, I sometimes I'm just a bit meditating. I'm like, hey, actually, what does my body need right now? And then actually I can also hear like, hey, actually my liver needs some support. Okay, how? Take this supplement a few days, you know, or do this. And like, okay, why not, you know? And then I notice that I feel that it's super nice, and that it also is like an extra way of getting, maybe if you keep it in these terms, getting data, but then not only from tests, but also just from your body, because I believe now your body doesn't make it up.
I think to add an important point to it, like when I met you 1 year ago, like you were disconnected from your body, like you wanted to track everything with your Aura ring, you wanted to have all the tests, and you fully trusted that the measurements, the meal plan, everything that you received from outside, that this would give you clarity on what is happening in your body. And I think the major shift that you made was connecting with your body again, not, for example, just reaching your daily calorie intake, but listening, okay, am I full right now? Should I continue eating? Or like, how is my body feeling right now with the food that I'm eating? You know, like I think you had a massive transformation to connect with your body, what your body is actually needing from you.
Yeah, I think that's a super funny story, because when we met each other in a gym, and in that gym at that time, I wanted to become big, you know. I wanted to, because in the past I could be a bit small, so maybe one of my insecurities could be that I was a bit too small, and I wanted to be big, you know. So what I did every day in that gym, I worked out first, and then at 12 to 1, I ate like one meal, which had like 3,500 calories. It was insane. It was first no vegetables. You told me that I should eat some vegetables first for the digestion, but it was like 200 grams of chicken, 200 grams of salmon, sweet potato, a few protein shakes, a few this and this, and then after it, I only had 2,000 calories. So I took like 3 shots of olive oil, 150 milliliters of olive oil. And I remember every day I came to you at the after it, I went to the treadmill to walk and answer all my messages. And then always I came with such a belly, and you were like, and I was like, okay, now I'll actually walk on the treadmill. And I did that for like 2 months or something. And then I became huge. But then after it, in a period, I didn't do that anymore, and we were together. And then you were like, actually, your body looks way better now than a year ago. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, I suffered super hard to eat all these calories, and now I eat less, and I'm, for my taste, a bit smaller. But then it's like, you were like, it looks way more beautiful now. You're more lean.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was also an insight of, okay, you can just listen a bit more to your body, because probably if that is the right thing, then also it will be the right thing to optimize for in general in your life.
Exactly. And I think also when I met you, you struggled with brain fog and a few, I think, digestive things that were going on. And those were also simply signs of your body that, to show yourself more love, to not continue eating when your body is full, to maybe slow down when your body needs more rest. And all of that improved, like with the mental work that we did, with the physical detox. I think you have no brain fog right now. Good.
Very good.
What happened to the constant pressure and the need to control things?
In December, we met each other last year, so it's a little bit more than a year ago now. I think in February we had a travel month, so we were 1 month together. And then in the end of March, we officially got a relationship. In May, we started living together even. And I think since May, my transformation really started happening fast. In 2 months later, I quit my business. I think also partly because I started to live with you and I felt so safe with you, where I was like, actually, she trusts me. Also, she feels also safe when I make no money for some time. I will figure it out. And this doesn't feel aligned anymore. It doesn't feel like that this is what I want to build. So yeah, it was a bit scary letting go of control, because the ultimate control test for me was, okay, am I now letting go a business that was like in between 50 and 100,000 euros per month in profit, where I have to only work 1 day a week on, in order to let go of control? And I was like, okay, is that a smart choice? And then logically, it was, of course, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? But then I was like, no, I really want to, I feel this is really what I need to do right now. I feel I need to make an end of the fear of lack and all these things. So I was like, okay, this is the ultimate decision for me. Now I will do what feels aligned for me. I will stop this business. So I did it. And yeah, that was for me like letting go of control.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's usually often a good sign. And I remember, because I, of course, lived with you, how it made you feel. Like how we can know whether something is aligned for us or no is how it makes us feel. If it feels alive, if it energizes us, it's usually a sign that we are on the right path. And for many months, this old business started draining your energy, and it didn't provide you any joy anymore. And you kept pushing for a while. You kept trying to do it because of the facts that you just mentioned. It was a safe income that you were receiving. But what made you then ultimately decide to quit the business and take the leap into the unknown?
So I was like, of course, because I only had to work 1 day a week on it still. And I was like, okay, maybe, because you also hear sometimes entrepreneurs of, okay, you need to keep focusing. You need to, because at a certain point it can become a bit boring. So keep focusing. But this was different for me. It was like, I felt so tired, even though I only had to work 1 day a week. And then the other days I could do everything that I wanted. I could gym. I only had to answer 30 minutes of messages per day. And that was it. So, but I felt so tired, and I was like, how can this be? I was like, did I lose my drive? Did I become too comfortable? Because when I started the business, I could really easily and joyfully work like 50, 60 hours per week. And now I was already tired of like 15 hours in a week of work. So yeah, then I was like, okay, I think that God now is trying to tell me something. And yeah, it's a scary step, but let's just listen to it and let's try it. And I was like, I can always go back. Also the decision was, okay, I stop now, but what I really let go of is my team and my income for a few months. I can always go back. And yeah, so I was like, let's just do it. Let's go for it.
And many high achievers, especially, are scared that if they let go of pressure and stress control, that they will have less success. And you actually proved the opposite. You had now your biggest month, 450,000 euro per month. And yeah, what is your stance on that?
Yes. So for me, it was the ultimate test to let go of control, I think. I believe that this very big month of 450,000, it had two sides. The one side is the more practical masculine side that I just provided a lot of value to a lot of people, and that's why I had hit the 450,000 euro month, which is by far the record, because the past was like 300,000. And the other part is like the inner work and the frequency I'm on, and that I had my relationship with God and the universe, and that I followed what was aligned, even though it was scary. So yeah, what is my stance on it? I talked to multiple other people that were even they say I was a bit jealous of you that you stopped your business. They were also very successful because I also had it a little bit, and I just pulled the trigger. And yeah, what I think everyone should feel this for themselves, but I think the universe or God is super smart. So if something, I'm not saying with the first feeling you should stop the business, definitely try it a little bit more, especially if it makes you a lot of money. But if at a certain point you keep getting the same conclusion, like, hey, this is not what I want to build long term in my life, this is not what it's going to make me happy, and I see another thing that is really like getting me energy, then for me personally, I am very happy with the decision that I stopped with the business. After it, I went to more a winter period. It was more a release period. So I think the start of my business was the initiation of the winter period, which is more defined by reflecting, inner work, resting, making new ideas, and I went in that for around 3 months or something like that. So I was a lot of also enjoying our travels. Yeah, and after it, then after the winter, the spring always comes. So then magically, I think it's really really beautiful. What happened with this month is I was just doing my thing. I was helping you grow the business, and at a certain point, I was going to play paddle one time here in Bali. And when I played paddle here in Bali, I met like a friend of me, and I'm also normally not so often on Instagram. But this time I saw a few ads of him that he was doing like a special type of launch. It was a goodbye launch, and I asked him like, "Hey, how does this work? How is this launch working for you?" And he said like, "Dude, it's like free money." I was like, "Okay, like, what did you make with it?" And then I'm not going to share his number, but it was a very big amount. I was like, "Wow, that's like a lot." And for the people that don't know it, what the goodbye launch was is that you basically have all the things you ever sold, and then sell the courses, and then sell them for just 197 euros. So in my case, some people paid like 5,000 euros or more for a program, but then also the program had a course, but also one-on-one guidance. And then just the course of it, you sell for very little. And I got that idea and worked it out. And I felt that was very, aligned. And then this month I did the goodbye launch because my business was already stopped, but it still existed to pay some freelancers and help the current clients that were still active after I stopped my business. Just people that bought the program and I needed to finish it. And yeah, then I launched even a course, not even a high ticket program, and made like 450,000 euros in a week with it as a goodbye launch because my business was already stopped. But then I was like, okay, let's close it off one more time with this launch because it's also a goodbye launch. And then this happened.
And this is a clear example that I see very often when people are in trust, in alignment, then opportunities are also coming your way. This is not only woo, it's literally the case. We know it all when we're on vacation, when we're resting, that we received $1 million idea or the good creative downloads. And this actually happened to you as well in a moment where you least expected it. And it wouldn't have come when you were tensed, controlling, pushing. You wouldn't be even available to see that opportunity happening.
It's true. And also when you think of it, like if you just break it down by the numbers, with this 450,000 euros, I made around 300,000 euros in profit. That's also the profit I would have made around 6 months if I would have continued with the past business, maybe a little bit more. But this time I didn't have work for 6 months. I didn't have to carry a team. I didn't have to have the responsibility of clients. I just had a course. I don't even have to do so much right now. And I made like the same profit with way little work and way little, and I had 6 months of rest.
Mhm.
So actually exactly my dream came true, that I could just rest for 6 months, have no responsibilities, and still make like a lot of money. But then this time it came this way. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that your business grows to the extent that you yourself are growing.
Yeah.
And you did all the inner work. You were facing lower states of emotions, limiting beliefs. You were transforming one after another. That was a massive period, and you keep working on yourself. And this is the missing piece that I also see with many people. They're just focusing on the physical work, but actually, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. If you feel fearful, lack on the inside, your outer reality will reflect that. If you feel rich inside, your outer reality will simply reflect that back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. And I think many people, what I also learned a lot from you is more the spiritual worldview. That is, I think, some people will think like, hey, what is a spiritual worldview? What do you mean with that? I always explain it like this, and you can maybe you can also add something, or if you think like, hey, I wouldn't say it like this. But what I think is, like, in a marketing business, you want to learn the rules of the market. So there's a specific market, and the market has some rules. For example, the person that provides the most value will get it. That the people will go to that. And also, I was very curious. Okay, but how does the for me, or how do I think the universe works more, or the world works more? What are the laws? And that to me is like spirituality, basically understanding the laws of energy of the world, so to make sure that I can work with them and then use them in my favor.
Mhm.
So, for example, if you make it very practical, I had these things of fear, of shame, of guilt, of lack, of control. And that was with my physical worldview. And I replaced these beliefs with the spiritual worldview. And that's also why I don't have them anymore.
Mhm.
So, if you, for example, see fear, if I was fearful about that I would get something, what's it called, a lawsuit, and then lose all my money. Now, first I could be like, okay, how do I not do this? Now it's like, okay, everything that needs to happen will happen. I'm protected, and if it will happen, then it was already meant, and it's fine. And it doesn't mean that I don't do anything anymore. But then I'm like, oh yeah, it's rested, and I really believe that. It's not that I don't believe that, because I really believe I'm protected. I really believe the Creator is with me. If I think of, okay, what if this team member will leave? Now, first it could be like, shit, text it. Oh, whoa, shit, and I have to do a lot of work. I need to step in. And now it's like, okay, everything that is really mine will not leave me. And if something leaves, it's already better, because there's a better opportunity ahead. That God is like providing for me.
I think a major shift that you had that comes right now as well is you realize that the emotions that are coming up, let's say fear, guilt, shame, or limiting thoughts, that they're not true. You realize that, okay, they're present, and I can decide whether I will give them the power or if I choose to think differently. And you learned how to shift to a more positive thought patterns, and also how to see the message in lower states of emotions. You didn't see fear anymore as something that is just in the way of your success. You were like, okay, interesting. This fear is telling me right now this message. Okay, come here, fear. Let's give you attention, and then we can go with even better energy forward.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. Yeah, but also what I don't do anymore is I don't do actions anymore out of fear, shame, or guilt. First, I thought, okay, I just do the actions, but now it's like, if it's out of fear, shame, or guilt, I don't do it. And I didn't do it for the past months. So, yeah, for example, if I would do something I don't do anything out of guilt anymore, because I firmly believe if something is out of fear, guilt, or shame, then it's not with the right intention. If it's not with the right intention, nothing positive can come from it. So that's also first I could do things out of shame and guilt, and now not anymore, because I'm like, okay, what is the message in it for me? What do I need to learn about myself here before I do anything about it?
And that's how you stepped into more alignment. Because, for example, meeting a friend because you feel guilty because you haven't seen them for a long time, it's creating like an energetic field that has holes. But if you keep staying true to yourself, if you keep acting, if you feel it's a no and you say it's a no, if you feel it's a yes and you say it's a yes, that's how you step into more alignment. And you did such a powerful transformation in, being really true and honest with yourself. And this started paying off in financial success and more happiness and inner fulfillment, in you being so peaceful and calm. Like, I find it so inspiring. I've never met any business owner that is like so relaxed in his business. Like you have full trust and surrender when it comes to clients, when it comes to hosting a webinar. Like if I would stress myself, you're like, honey, no need to stress, everything is fine. And I'm like sometimes now shocked myself that that you're now calming me down with all those emotions.
For example, too, at the beginning of this launch, because I had no idea that this launch would be so successful of 450,000 euros. I thought maybe, okay, if it's like 50 or 100,000, because it was just a 197 euro course. It was not like a high ticket program. But already also before the launch, you were saying like, you are vibrating on 500K. And I was like, yeah, actually, also when I meditated, I also thought I would make 500K with this launch. So it's not logical, but it's a bit like, and now we were at 450. But I also have, I think, I'm not sure, it's now the, what is it? It's now the 15th day of the month or something. I think we will for sure hit the 500. So it's like also, it's interesting. I'm not only doing things with my mind anymore. I use a bit more these spiritual energy things, and I really love it. It's like, it makes me on such a high frequency while still being practical, because this doesn't mean that I don't have commitments anymore. This doesn't mean that I'm not consistent with work anymore. This doesn't mean that I eat unhealthy. This doesn't mean that I am not motivated anymore. I think we are both still very practical. That's also what I loved about you, that you can explain these things so practical, and not like, okay, but what should I do now? So yeah, I think I really love it. It really catapults me towards my goals.
Yeah, because that's another thing that you're mentioning right now, like having more success, having more abundance, having a fulfilling relationship. This is also something you have to hold energetically. So you have, like, in a way, an energetic vessel, and you have to keep expanding yourself and also adjust your nervous system along the way. Because it's not only that you will make more money and it will feel safe and comfortable. You have to keep doing the work to feel, okay, I can actually manage that. Okay, I will have not the fear right now of losing all of that I have acquired. This is inner work, literally, that allows you to have all of that. And the most successful people in that I know and that are on the top are literally the ones that are doing the inner work, that are keep expanding themselves, that are facing, okay, what are the fears, what are the doubts, where are the insecurities, where are the limiting beliefs? And those are the ones that are removing them layer after layer, and that's how they expand.
Yeah, it's very true. Also, maybe interesting to know how I deal with these fears. For example, of, okay, what do I do now when I get the thought of, hey, what if I lose all my money? What I did first is like, okay, shit, how big is the chance that I really lose it? That was always, and then I worked it out. I was like, okay, actually, this is so big. Okay, so it's not such a big problem. Let's not think about it. And now I'm also like, okay, yeah, what if I actually lose my money? And I don't want it, I love my money, but okay, what if it happens? Then like, okay, actually, then I would really learn to trust God even more. I would be like, okay, nothing is lost because this energy is still mine, and I know it will come back in another way. Then I would be like, okay, then I will practice this and learn this, and then it will come back. So it's a bit like, it's so totally different. It's not fearful anymore. It is just with trust, and yeah, makes me be in such a high frequency,
Yeah.
in which I can really go after what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Because the best case scenario and the worst case scenario exist both at the same time. And where we place our energy and attention, more of it will grow. And if you keep feeding the best case scenario, this is relaxing your body. It has an influence on your emotions and ultimately on your results as well.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true.
And what made you decide, or what was like the shifting point where you were like, all right, now I'm gonna support you in your business?
Yes. So first I just followed your tips because I'm genuinely very interested to see. Yeah, I was already interested in coaching, so I followed all your tips. I was like, okay, what does she do? You were asking me also. It was also very nice to just talk about life, and you ask me questions sometimes. I ask you questions sometimes. So I had a very big transformation myself, but also what was there all the time was I saw how happy your clients were. So you were telling me about the calls you had and the transformations of the people and how happy they were. And as a LinkedIn consultant, I have helped over 300 coaches, and I have yet to date never seen that someone with over, you have also 300 clients, something like that. We aren't the same clients. You have also 300 clients one-on-one, and that 100% of them are satisfied. And apart from that they're also very satisfied. So I was like, actually, this has a very big potential, because if 100% of the clients are satisfied, then it can, then really when you scale also the marketing, then it will grow exponentially and super hard. So I was like, okay, these tips clearly work. It really transformed me. I live on a way higher frequency. I'm super happy, super grateful. Clients are also super happy and grateful. I referred 2 of my closest team members to you, and they were also super happy and grateful with your coaching. And yeah,
Your
after
mother.
and my mother, indeed. You also helped my mother, which was super happy with your coaching. So it was really like something where I was like, okay, this is not only about money for me. This is also about meaning, about impact. That I can really see that your method and your things really can change people. Because yeah, also I invested in so much coaching again, and I received such a big transformation since I lived with you, and yeah, I'm also so grateful for that, But also the people around me and how I just feel. It's just amazing. So that is why I thought, okay, one, it is truly super high impact on the results we get for clients. Two, it is exceptional for business, because if the clients are so satisfied, the only thing you need to do is like find the best marketing message, and then that's my experience. And if you find it, then you grow like exponentially hard, because then you have 2 sides which goes crazy.
Mhm.
So these 2 things, I was like, okay, it makes business wise it makes sense, and also impact wise it makes sense.
An interesting thing is that I always visualize that I will have a partner that will support me in my business, because like my strengths are honestly the coaching. I love also content creation, but then doing the whole business side, that was like more the thing that I didn't enjoy so much. So you making the decision that you want to help me, it was like, yes.
Yeah, and you also had the goal that you wanted to build a very big business, right?
Exactly. I had the vision of helping millions of people with that healing modality, because after healing myself from a brain tumor and supporting so many clients on their healing journey, I was like, it has to be shouted out in the world. People are still getting a diagnosis and they think it's the end of the world. And I think like I'm very certain that this method that we have developed is really helping people change their lives, helping them to be more joyful, more fulfilled, and ultimately creating the right environment for healing.
Yeah, it's true.
And yeah, you helped me to build the car to reach those people.
Yeah, but it's also super cool, because you always visualize that you wanted this big outcome. At the same time, you also know of yourself, I like the content and the coaching. So then you also manifest it in a way, someone that will help you with exactly the things that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And I personally, I am super good in that business side. And for me, I like recurring tasks, I like less. So for example, the coaching and really making the content all the time, I enjoyed less in my last business. So we both, and I also want to build a very big business. So I have found something that is a really exceptional product, as someone who loves coaching and content, and I can do the strategy thing and the business thing and making sure that the business grows very fast. And then we have like, I also, that's also my dream, so that's like, yeah, it's like a perfect match.
Yeah, exactly. Like since you're on board, like I started having a team as well that is supporting me in the mission, because, like when you have a big mission, initially I was doing everything myself and I was overworked, I was stressed with that. So you helped me also, yeah, find more balance, work-life balance with that.
Yes, I think mostly with building some machines of delivery, marketing, sales. Yes.
Okay, like to summarize everything that we have discussed right now, what would you say was the biggest transformation from how you were before to how you are now?
What a good question. Yeah, I think also if I compare it to 1 year ago, um, I have way more energy. I believe because it's a physical detox, and that I do something that's fully aligned right now, and that I have a higher frequency, and that I feel through my emotions. I have way more. I am really full of drive again. Yeah, because some people also think like, hey, if you tackle these fears and these shame, then you have no drive anymore, and it is completely not true. Because now you're like, I'm like, okay, let's build things. That let's just do it, and not, okay, if I don't do this, I'm not good enough, or all this bullshit is away. But like now it's just like, hey, let's just build. So when you tackle these things, what keeps being there is desire to just build things.
Out
So
of joy.
yeah, out of joy, out of meaning, out of let's just see what is possible and let's have fun, you know, like that's a way more. I can work even harder now with that because I'm like continuously in joy and not in fear and everything. I yeah, I trust way more. I'm way more in okay. I have these goals and I take the steps every day. I go to bed on time. I do my deep work. I eat healthy. I make sure that we have quality time together every day. So I do all the important action steps. And at the same time, I trust that God will also help me to reach all my big goals. You know, instead of thinking that I need to control everything or it's all on me. I believe now it's indeed on me to do the actions, and I'm just open for the magic of God or whatever it is to also guide me a little bit into the unexpected big leaps like this course launch. And yeah, it will feel very right when you receive an opportunity like that, and then it's like super nice.
And what would you say to someone that is maybe the version like you were 1 year ago? What are the top 3 tips that you have for them to make the same transformation that you did?
Yeah, my number one tip is get coaching from Natalie. It's like yeah, it's really true. Like it's not that I wouldn't do this myself. Like I invested over 50,000 euros into personal coaching, 200,000 euros into business coaching. So this is not something that I say right now that I wouldn't do myself. But I'm 100% serious. Get like coaching from Natalie. If you listen to this right now, I think then you are very lucky if Natalie can still coach you one-on-one, because very soon we will crack a very good marketing message. Because right now the delivery is purely set, and right now we're building the marketing machine. Because as you have heard in this podcast, maybe some things are a bit like, hey, okay, but what does this actually do? So we are still cracking the exact marketing message. But what we know is that this is very transforming. Very soon we will find the marketing message, and you can expect that when we find this marketing message, then that Natalie doesn't have time anymore to coach people one-on-one, because then her time will be completely full, you know? Or we have coaches in our team that will do it. So I would say, like, if you listen to this right now, then this is like a very unique chance to still get coached by Natalie. That's, yeah, like there's nothing else. If you look at it ROI-wise, where can you invest your money with the highest ROI? Like I always did, then there's nothing like a higher ROI than this. So like be smart with it's like an investment. It's like an investment that literally makes you extra money. It saves you time. It makes you happier. It makes you more energized. Like that's also why I decided to join your business. It's like I'm not quitting. I'm not putting all my time and energy and effort into something where I see there's no potential in, you know. And the biggest factor is that I saw okay how satisfied your clients are, and that 100% of them were satisfied. So I was like, okay, this works. This is good. Yeah, that will be my number one tip. My number two tip will be watch more of Natalie, her content, if you're not ready for that yet, because that can clearly help you. We make very practical content about this, which you can implement yourself. So make sure you watch that and make sure you do it as soon as possible if you still want to get coached by Natalie yourself. Like I would say the biggest reason why people wouldn't do this is because they think I already know this. And like it can be true. Or maybe for the exceptional person it can be true, but like it has been so rare that I have seen this, and it can be such a big opportunity to switch this that can catapult you towards your success. You learn all the ways to manifest, to be more energized. I cannot see how people cannot have an ROI out of your coaching. So
Yeah.
it's really like thinking ROI, thinking like, okay, is there anywhere else I can invest my money right now better than into Natalie, her coaching? Can I leave it better on the bank? No, because it decreases every year. Can you put it into stocks, crypto, real estate? Maybe, but what is the ROI? Can you put it into coaching? The ROI can be like the least ROI you can get from it in a year time is like 10x, and the best ROI is like maybe even 100x, or over your lifetime, maybe even 1000x. So like that, it's such a no-brainer when you think of it like that. For everyone.
And I think this way of thinking brought you also so much success, because you are also a person that is very open. You have no ego. You put it on the backseat somewhere, and you're always open and willing to learn. And you always say, I always want a coach that is supporting me in the growth. And you always had coaches and mentors as well. And I think the most limiting thing is that you can believe that you know it all. And I know many high achievers have that I'm also supporting. So in the first coaching calls, we have to break that first, because I understand you've done the courses, you've done maybe had different mentors and coaches, but there is so much more. And it's helpful to have a mirror that is reflecting back to you how you speak, how you think, which actions and behaviors are you having, to make them conscious so you can change and transform them.
Yeah, and it's also not for no reason that I started to listen to you, because when we started dating, like I already had multiple health coaches even. So I was also like, okay, I know a lot about health, but then every time when we were together in the gym or something, and you said me something, I was like, hey, and I maybe sometimes I pushed back, and you were like, no, 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 this is like this because this, and I was like, you're right. And then it happened like five times or something. I wasn't pushing back from ego, but I was like, hey, I also know this and this about this. And every time you were right. So then I was like, okay, she actually knows her shit. So then also when it happens a few times, when a few times I said something and you were like pretty firm in like, no, this is like not out of ego from you, but like from knowledge and experience. Like, hey, no, this is like this because this creates this result and this result. And I was like, okay, actually, she really knows it. And then I started to trust you too, and then I implemented all your tips, and then this happened.
I think especially successful entrepreneurs or high achievers that want more from life. You maybe tried all the ways of controlling, of pushing harder, but there's also a different approach. There's a different approach that provides more joy, feels like ease, and this is the approach that I'm trying to show you, trying to transform you into, because that will have a positive effect, like on you, on your energy levels, on your mood, on your drive, on your relationships, on how you treat yourself, on everything. It influences all areas. And the funny thing is, when people come to me, they usually want to improve their health. And what happens afterwards, they start creating their dream life. Because when you're on that high frequency, you're like, wow, everything is going well. Now I can do this. And they start dreaming bigger, and everything seems possible for them because they learn how to remove limitations from their life. So,
Yeah, like if you think again like it in a money term, which is something my audience knows, or and how I think, okay, like how, okay, all nice, but like money wise, what does this do? It is like, okay, do you want to only rely on your own mind to make all these decisions into how to make more money, into how to get a good relationship, and how everything? Or do you also want to trust more on the universe, on God, and learn how to manifest, learn how you can use these rules of the universe in order to work with you so you can go even faster towards your goals? You can save hours per week of your time in these low frequency states. You can, like, it's just crazy what the ROI is in how much extra money you make, how much time you save. Yeah, it's like that's how I think.
So if you would compare your goals to how they were prior towards how they are now, what would you say are your goals?
My goals prior in my past business, or when 1 year ago, were to grow to 500K per month. My goals were to get a girlfriend. My goals were to become 85 kilos with 12% body fat, and an HRV of 150 on my Oura ring. These were my main three goals then. Now my goals are to help 1 billion people with your method, and grow into like a massive empire of like hundreds of millions, but just because it's fun, not only because of the money, it's because of the impact, but also it's just fun to build a super big business and do something that you really believe in. The other thing is to, my health wise, I'm so satisfied right now. I don't have any goals like to become even healthy. I feel super healthy. It's good this way. I feel energized. My body feels good. I feel also clean, like detox. It feels very nice. So health is actually just keeping it the same. I'm also very happy with our relationship. So yeah, that's also the goals I had for that. Is like, okay, just keep doing our weekly date, keep doing our every travel every 3 months, keep doing our relationship check-in, because it's just like amazing. I really love good hotels. So yeah, I like to stay in all the I like to, in my life, visit all the most beautiful hotels in the world. Yeah, and apart from that, just be present and enjoy every day. Like every day feels like a holiday right
Mm-hmm.
now. And that's also something I was after for a very long time. First, I thought that every day would feel like a holiday when I would have no responsibilities in the day of work. So I had an empty day of meetings and just had some texts. And now I realize that every day feels like a vacation when you release the fear, like the shame and the guilt in my case, so that now I'm like, oh, actually, what should I do today, And of course, this doesn't mean that I have no obligations. I still have meetings sometimes. I still have some people to respond to, but still it feels like vacation. That was also a very big goal of me. So I would say right now I think bigger. I'm more content with where I'm super content with where I am. So super happy in my life, and at the same time I want to reach very big goals. I want to help a lot of people, impact a lot of people, just because it's fun. Because yeah, like in my days I just like to build. I have like a desire to build, and that's so I feel first it was maybe like, okay, I don't feel good now, so I work towards that to feel good, and now it's like I feel amazing now, and let's just build something cool,
Mm-hmm.
and
Exactly.
enjoy life.
Mm-hmm. Leah, you had the biggest transformation in shifting from fear being in the driver's seat to allowing joy, inspiration to move you forward. And this feels then like a never ending vacation for you because you're just like, okay, what can I create today? How can I share value? Who can I support today? And then you just come up with a launch like this that is helping thousands of people now grow on LinkedIn.
Yes, it's very true. It's very true. Yes. What were some things in business wise that you learned from me, from the people in my podcast? Maybe also people find this interesting.
Oh, that's a very good question. Misha taught me definitely how to delegate. That was a very big thing for me because initially I was doing everything myself and I was thinking I'm doing everything the best myself. But taking actually a virtual assistant on board, a video editor, later on also a social media manager, and yeah, getting support also
Sales team.
sales team, like this was like such a big relief. But already the biggest shift will happen when you have a VA already that can take on tasks that you don't want to do anymore, because you can literally focus on tasks that would bring you more money than doing those little activities. So this was life changing. Also, the way actually you structure your day, like I'm so impressed by that. So yeah, the way how many breaks you take, how yeah, I always make a joke that Misha is a holistic LinkedIn expert. Because he's really treating himself well, always having the morning routine, also the evening routine, making sure he goes to bed on time, having a good rhythm where he takes also a break, so where he goes to the infrared sauna. And I'm like, wow, that's actually very sustainable, like to do it that way, using, for example, time windows like after the food, where he goes on the treadmill to answer all messages. Like he is very good in pre-planning when major tasks will be done. So he has several windows in the day, and then this allowed me, when I implemented that as well, to let go in the other windows, because sometimes I used to still be occupied with thinking I have to fix stuff. But now I have like an app blocker on my phone. Now I also have like the Todoist app on my phone as well, where I write down, brain dump everything that comes to my mind, all the tasks that have to be done. So that is not anymore floating in my mind. So you helped me also to clear my mind. And another big shift that Michelle helped me was to think more into a machine building process, building a machine that will also run without me in there, because I was always like the main operator, and this is not how I envision myself in the long term. And Misha is really good in thinking years ahead and creating then the right structure to achieve that. So we built a sales machine, we built a delivery machine, we built a content machine, and with those three machines, I can be out of that operating system a little bit and think of more bigger value driven things.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe to explain for people a little bit, like if you have the three things, if you have in a business like ours, if we have the marketing, which are podcasts like this, which you watch right now, and they give a lot of value. So they will make sure that you plan in a sales call. And the sales call is with our team who also went through their own healing journeys, and I'll help people to assess their situation and see if we can help them. So the marketing is pretty automated with content because it's on a big scale. And we have a marketer who also posts, and it's short form content, and we are still involved in there. And the messages we still do are the message of the content we still do ourselves, but the editors help. And then also we have the delivery. We have soon a head coach who also helps the clients with the results. And then in that way we have people that plan in sales calls to the marketing machine, the sales calls that get converted to the sales machine, and the clients that get happy and helped and upsold through the delivery machine. So then Natalie is like on above it, and she can give the marketing team some input, the sales team some input, and the delivery team some input every week in a call. And then the clients she can have a group call with every week. And this way she can do all her tasks in one day a week, and the rest of the week she can spend on product development, into making more content to help even more people, into like again improving the product, into getting partnerships with big influencers and big people, so that our method gets spread even further. So yeah, I think that it takes time to build a machine. Not I think not even so much time, but when you do it, that's your business becomes really peaceful because you're not the person in it anymore who's constantly doing all the things. And I think also with that, like if you're an entrepreneur, then you also get not only coached by a person who knows health and who knows manifestation and spirituality and feeling through emotions. That person actually also knows how to build a business machine and how to delegate and how to reach big goals. So yeah, soon that's also again why I think it's not available anymore, because when you become that person, that person that knows that, then it cannot be. Your time is limited.
And right now we are building those delivery, like those machines. And of course, it takes a little bit of time to build all of that. But also the thought that I'm working now for the long term, which will allow me to then have exactly the life that I'm desiring, with more freedom and more creative output. This is like so exciting. Now I'm even getting to working on those tasks, and I'm like, let's get it done, you know?
Yeah. But also important to notice that you really love coaching people, you know, so that's also something you really love coaching people. So I think still there will be coaching included in your week, but then it's more maybe for higher, honestly, for higher prices, because you can do less of it.
Yeah, the goal is like to create a lot of free content. We want to help as many people as possible through free content, but for that I also need more free time, and that's why we're creating those machines right now that will give me more space to launch a podcast, to meet with other creators, to spread the message as far as possible, because healing is possible. I want to show people how to do it, and for that, I cannot be operating in those daily activities every day.
How did your goals change business-wise or life-wise since you met me before, compared to when you didn't meet me before?
Yeah, because I was initially doing everything myself, as I told already. I wasn't really planning many years ahead. I was more living in the present moment and being occupied with the present tasks that were in front of me, helping the clients. But now with you, we think really 10 years ahead. We have a whole strategy, we're building the machines for it. So this is a big shift, while at the same time enjoying life to the fullest. So I think now I have the balance of both, but I didn't have the time capacities to do both before that, you know?
Other goals that are different now?
Right now, the goals are definitely bigger. Like my goal was to help thousands of people with that healing modality. But Misha always breaks my upper limits as well. He was like, why not help 1 billion people? I was like, yeah, why actually not? You're a good upper limit breaker. Each time when I have set a goal for myself, you're like breaking it to think even bigger. And this is what I love about you a lot, because why not? Why not actually have it all? Why not create the greatest impact that we can have on the planet? Why not help everyone? Why not create miracles? Why not live in abundance? Everything is possible for us.
It's very true. Yeah, it's because I And one of my best clients I worked with, he was mentored by Dan Pena, and Dan Pena wanted to become, from a young age, he wanted to become the $1 trillion man. So he wanted to make sure that all his clients combined generated $1 trillion in revenue, I think, or in money. I don't know exactly. And one of his only regrets right now, he is when he was 80 or 90 even, I don't know how old he is right now, but he said his biggest regret in his life was that he didn't say I wanted my clients that he didn't set the goal of generating $10 trillion for his clients, because if that was his goal, he would have generated that.
Mhm.
So it's really like, yeah, why not set it higher? Because what's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. Like some people say you have to be a bit realistic, but why be realistic? Like you don't
Mhm.
have to do it. But I firmly believe that if we set this goal, then we have even more impact than when we set a lower goal of thousands of people. And you also believe that, but
Mhm.
just maybe for the people that are watching right now, why not think even bigger?
Exactly. And for me, it's a very exciting journey as well because you know the business path, you know how to get there, you have all the strategies, and you're very certain about it too. And for me, it feels like an exciting journey. Like Misha is taking me by the hand and he's guiding me on how to do the business to scale massively. And of course, there are many fears, doubts also coming up to the surface for me, but I have the tools to navigate through it. That's why we grow so fast. That's why we make like quantum leaps. Every week we're like, whoo, we're not the same people anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. Okay, if you watched this on my channel, then thank you for watching. I hope this inspired you. Let me know in the comments if you liked this, and yeah, I will set a link to our sales team if you still want to get coached by Natalie as an entrepreneur from my channel. Again, I can highly recommend it. I don't think there's anything with a higher ROI on your money than Natalie, her coaching. If you watch this a few months after this podcast, then I don't know if it's available anymore. So then we will let you know when you plan the call that it's not available anymore. But yeah, there's a unique opportunity now that you can still do it. So if you feel that this might be helping you a lot, or you feel like, hey, if this helped Michel so much and he really decided to grow even this business, so maybe I also can get something out of it, you can book in the call.
If you're curious on how that could look like in your situation, you're more than welcome to book a call with my sales team, and they will look whether and how we can help you best in your situation to find maybe the root causes if you have health issues and to see like what can really help you to create the best life possible.
Very good. Do that. Then I guess we see them in the next free giveaway, because we will post many interesting things.
Mhm.
So stay tuned. And with that being said, we hope you enjoyed this podcast.